lot of people will say things like VSLs are dead, or webinars are dead, or low ticket recurring is the only way to drive new client acquisition in 2024. And this is a terrible way to look at client acquisition. I completely disagree with it. And in this video, I want to tell you how you should look at it instead. So a lot of people in 2024, and honestly, they've always kind of done this, but people look at vehicles for client acquisition and think that the vehicle is the main driver of success. And that's just not true. It plays a role, but it's definitely not like the key factor behind whether or not a vehicle works. To give you some context, right now, people are very critical of VSLs at the moment. However, I have 3 clients right now who are making several $1 million a year off of VSL funnels. I also have one client who has been basically banging his head against the wall trying to get a VSL funnel to work and has not been able to do so. So VSLs definitely work, but there's also a lot of people who they won't work for. Same with many other models. You look at like a low ticket recurring model. I have several clients who tried to make low ticket recurring work and they couldn't. They did it for 60 days. It just didn't really work for them. On the flip side, I know many people who are running very, very profitable businesses and doing very well for themselves because they were able to crack low ticket recurring. And that kind of leads me to the main point of my video, which is the client acquisition vehicle you're using shouldn't be dictated by, the overall market, what's hot in the market. It should be dictated by what are your strengths and weaknesses. What I mean by that is every single vehicle out there it's dictated more so by the strengths of the business. For example, you look at a VSL funnel, it doesn't really require you to be really, really good at any one thing, but you also can't be bad at any aspect of your client acquisition ecosystem. If you want to get a VSL to work, you don't necessarily have to be like world-class at copy. You don't need a world-class VSL to work. You also don't need world-class setters, closers. Your sales process doesn't have to be just like the most talented team of all time. But you also can't be bad at any of them. If you have like just a straight up bad setter team, a VSL is not going to work. If you have bad closers, it's not going to work. If you have a bad copywriter writing your VSL, again, it's not going to work. You have to be at like a B plus level across the board in order to get a VSL funnel to work. Whereas, on the flip side, you look at something like low ticket recurring, that it doesn't even have the sales team involved. You don't really need to be like great on the sales side to make low ticket recurring work. But you do have to be very, very good at marketing. One of the key differences between a low ticket recurring model and a VSL funnel is that your profitability is a lot tighter. The margin's much tighter on that. If you sell a $10,000 offer, service, product, or whatever it is, and you pay a $2,000 cost per acquisition on that 10K, it's fine. That's a 5x ROAS over time. Like that's perfectly healthy. That's extremely profitable. If you're paying a $2,000 CPA on a low ticket recurring model where you're collecting your AOV up front is like $97, your average churn rate takes place around 4 months or so. So you're making $400 and you're spending $2K, that is like very, very deep in the hole. You are losing, was that $1,600 for every sale you make, assuming that you aren't able to ascend people into it. So the difference between low ticket recurring is, there's less pressure on the sales side because you're not really selling over the phone on the front end, but marketing has to be tight. Marketing's got to be dialed. You've got to be watching your numbers like a hawk. You've got to be good at marketing to make that work. In addition to that, there's more operational complexity. There's when does the sales team reach out? What does that call look like? It's not really a typical sales call when you're upselling someone. It's a very different process there. So I'd say there's more operational complexity when it comes to something like a low ticket recurring model versus VSLs are very straightforward. You run the VSL, call all the new leads, try to get them on a call ASAP, try to close them ASAP. Ultimately, the vehicle that you choose for client acquisition for your business is very dependent on what are you good at. If you're a founder and you're a really good marketer, like I would consider myself to be very good at marketing and very good at setting, pretty average closing. That's kind of my skill stack at the moment. I'm probably not going to run like VSL funnels. I'd probably gear my business towards low ticket just because my strengths lie in marketing. I know a lot of my friends are very much more sales oriented. Just get them on the call, they'll close the deal, they'll collect a lot of cash up front. Um, when it comes to writing VSLs, when it comes to copy, they're pretty bad. So they should probably be running like a VSL or even something like DM ads, I'd say. That's very, very entry level, realistically. So whenever you're making these decisions surrounding what kind of vehicle you want to use for client acquisition, keep that in mind. What are you good at? What are you bad at? And make sure that whatever vehicle you're using is aligned with that. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if you've got any comments. And thanks for watching.